In the face of Soviet pressure, the security of the West was established. The policy of standing firm was vindicated. Was this peace? Was this what they had died for? In Normandy, at Alamein, in Stalingrad, in the hills of Italy and the streets of Paris? So, in April 1949, with the Russians still blockading Berlin, 12 nations came together in Washington to sign the North Atlantic Treaty. Thus was born the Atlantic Alliance and NATO, its organization for the defense of the West, the beginnings of a true system of collective security. Realizing that the treaty brought the United States firmly onto the European scene for the first time in peacetime, the communists reacted, to say the least, unfavorably. Yet, by and large, Western Europe took this move towards defensive rearmament very soberly. And in spite of communist threats and propaganda, when NATO's first Supreme Commander, Dwight D. Eisenhower, arrived in Paris to take his post, the planned demonstrations came to naught. In a temporary headquarters, the military staff of the Alliance began their task of building a continent's defenses. Soldiers of many nations, working together in peacetime, because those nations realized that to avert war, the safest thing was to be prepared for it. So into Europe's ports came the first weapons to help restore the military balance. And as well as the armaments, men, soldiers, sailors, and airmen from across the Atlantic, from Canada and the United States, here at this time to prevent the guns from sounding. And with the camps and airfields mushrooming on the landscape, there was much else growing besides. The nations receiving Marshall Aid dollars were putting their own currency, freed by those dollars, to good work. Roads, railways, bridges, dams, hydroelectric schemes. Everywhere the rattle of cranes and concrete mixers. And in the factories from Turin to Aberdeen, there was ever-growing roar and bustle. The Marshall Plan was the stimulant, NATO was the shield. In the Rhineland city of Bonn, workers put finishing touches to a new parliament house, the seat of government for the new Federal Republic of Germany. To block German reunification, the Russians had created an East German state. The West would create a Western one. The new administration included many veteran fighters for German freedom. For those of them who had suffered for their beliefs in Nazi concentration camps, to be members of the first democratic government in their country for over 20 years was reward indeed. Here was the beginning of a new Germany.